Let's get more on this now with Temple University Law and Politics Professor Susan Sullivan. She joins us now from Philadelphia. Welcome to the program, Professor. We know that Trump appointed 3 US Supreme Court judges during his time as president, but all of the justices decided to overturn Colorado's attempt to ban him from running for office again. What more can you tell us about this ruling?
Well, it's a really interesting ruling because I think it goes in large measure to the very core of the way that the American government is set up and the way we're going to see this election play out. I mean, I think it's important that the groundwork that the court ruled here is really this, founding constitutional government. The United States has a federal government, a national government, a president, a Senate in Washington, D.C. That is the federal government, but it also has 50 states. There are 360 million people here, 50 states with often a very different agenda from one another. And what the court here has essentially said is that those states, many of whom would like to have their own agenda, but those states may not prevent a candidate from running on a federal ballot for a federal election, particularly if the election is for president. So it's really come down to a unanimous court, as you say, including 3 Trump appointees, but in fact 6 conservative justices and 3 liberal justices unanimously saying the states do not have the power to do that. I think it's important, though, that this opinion did not say that the former president did not engage in an insurrection, did not incite an insurrection. They didn't address that. They addressed the narrow issue of whether a state government can impose their will on who would stand for a federal elective office in their state. That was the narrow question that they decided here. And of course, that means that none of the 50 states can bar Donald Trump from being on the ballot in any of those states.
And Professor, no doubt this is a victory for the former president, who's also facing a number of other legal troubles, isn't he, in the lead up to the presidential election?
Yes, you're absolutely right. He is facing a number of challenges, including 4 criminal cases. I think one of the decisions that we're looking out for, the court just last week said that they would hear one of those cases. Former President Trump has alleged that or asserted that he should be given blanket immunity for his conduct whilst a president. So, of course, that would include any findings of insurrection or inciting an insurrection. He has advanced that argument in one of the criminal cases against him. And, of course, if that were to be found to be the case, the president would be, any president would have complete immunity to do whatever they wish to do while they were in office. So the Supreme Court has actually said last week they will hear that case and will have a decision on that by the end of June. So that's a really, really critical case. That's going to have tremendous implications, not just for the former president, but for any future president. But yes, he's facing a lot of legal challenges having to do with his conduct with respect to the last election. There's a criminal case in Georgia accusing him of election interference. And of course, there's a federal case in Washington, D.C. The heart of that is his conduct inciting the riot and encouraging the attack on the Capitol on January the 6th.
Okay, Professor Susan Sullivan, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you so much for sharing your analysis with us.
My pleasure.